Hello, class. Today we're going to be covering the 5 components of physical fitness. This is essentially in preparation for the fitnessgram. We're going to cover cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength and muscular endurance, flexibility and body composition, and then we're going to preview the fitnessgram, its components, and the tests that we will be doing in class. The 5 components of physical fitness are essentially what makes up what level you are for fitness. Cardiovascular endurance is the ability of the heart and lungs to work together to provide the needed oxygen and fuel to the body during sustained workloads. That sounds pretty wordy, but when you break it down, it's your blood and your heart and your lungs all working together in order to make it so that you can run or bike for long periods of time. Endurance is just how long that you can endure the activity for. So think about it as an extended workout. Examples of cardiovascular endurance are jogging, running, and swimming. Another one would be biking. You can obviously tell that cardiovascular endurance is necessary for people who do triathlons or marathons or bike for long periods of time. Test that we will be using in class is the 1 mile run and the pacer test. The pacer test is more specifically on the fitnessgram. Here's an example of the pacer test.
Feel it. The FitnessGram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line, and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. The test will begin on the word start. On your mark, get ready, start. Feel it.
So we're moving on to muscular strength and endurance now. Muscular strength is the amount of force that a muscle can exert against a resistance. Muscular strength also sounds a bit wordy, but it's basically just how much you can lift, essentially. So think about it as when you are doing a bicep curl, it's how much force your muscle can produce to lift up the bicep curl. So muscular endurance is the ability of a muscle to repeat a movement many times or to hold a position for an extended period of time. So it sounds wordy again, but it's how many times your muscle can move in a period of time while lifting weight too. So think about doing a push-up. When you're doing 20 push-ups, you fatigue pretty quickly. You wouldn't have muscular endurance as strong. But if you can go on for doing 20 or 30 or 40, you have a lot of muscular endurance. It's just how long and how many repetitions that muscle can produce. Muscular strength, we'll test that on the fitnessgram with a push-up test. That one is the most common because you are using body weight. And then ways that you can do it in the gym is the leg press or the bench press. It's just how much that you can lift with either your pecs or with your leg muscles. But you can essentially apply this to everything at the gym. When you're doing a bicep curl, it's how much you can lift with your biceps or your arms. When you're squatting, deadlifting, just think about essentially anything that you're lifting. Also, make sure that you do muscular endurance. I gave a couple of examples, like the push-up test that we'll be doing for the fitnessgram. There's the curl-up test, the pull-up test, the plank test, and the flexed arm hang test. In the picture, I have a plank. What you can see, we typically try and hold them for 30 seconds. A minute would be way too long. 30 seconds to 1 minute. And it's basically keeping all of those muscles flexed for a long period of time. Another example is the push-up test. And when you do the push-up test, you're doing a repeated movement over and over. Like I said, the more you can do, the better your muscular endurance is. Now moving on to flexibility. It's the ability of a joint to move through its full range of motion, from a flexed to an extended position. Common examples of doing flexibility exercises are yoga. It's the stretches that we do, like our warm-ups, our cool-downs. It's to relieve muscles and just make sure that you aren't getting extra tight, because when your muscles are tight, it ultimately causes injury. So flexibility is really good to have. Flexibility evaluation in the FitnessGram, we have 3. The trunk lift, as you guys are familiar with, I'm sure you've done it hundreds of times, but you start on a face down position and you basically have your hands at your sides and you lift up as far as you can, only using your back muscles. The shoulder stretch is when you lift up one arm and you try and touch your back with it and you pull the opposite arm around and up your back instead. And you try and get them to touch. We measure the distance that you can touch them or how far your fingertips are away from each other. And the sit and reach is as pictured. You keep your legs straight, knee, you want to make sure it's straight and not bent, and you reach as far as you can, and it measures your lower back flexibility. All of these are really important, especially as you get older. You do want to maintain your flexibility. All of these components you do want to maintain, but this one is a good one to keep in mind. Some examples are going to be yoga. Like I said, the stretching, Muay Thai, Chai Chi. They're all really popular. Pilates, where you can integrate workouts and lifting weights into it as well. Also, very good workout. Moving on to body composition. Body composition is the amount of fat in the body compared to the amount of lean body mass. What is lean body mass? It's your muscles, your organs, blood, water, and bones. And you are comparing all of this to fat. So the lower BMI is ultimately going to be better. There has been a lot of controversies over BMI. We'll definitely discuss this further because it doesn't take into consideration how what kind of body type you have, So if you're a very, very muscular person, it's not going to account for how much muscle you have. BMI only measures your height and weight. So we try and do tests like the electronic handheld devices that'll measure your percent body fat, which are definitely going to be more helpful than just the BMI. So there are 4 ways to do BMI or body composition tests. The bioelectrical impedance, that's what I was trying to say earlier, is that basically it can be a handheld machine or one that you step onto, and it'll just measure your water, muscle, and fat, and it'll tell you your percent body fat. The skin fold calipers is a interesting way. It's a lot of poking and prodding, but it gives you measurement based off of how much extra skin or fat that you have, and you do a bunch of calculations to find out your percent body fat. Also, a different way, it's better to track progress only because when you use it and you have different people do it, they're not as specific to where you measured the first time. we'll go into more details so that makes more sense later as well. The water test is when you go underwater, and it'll measure the change because, as you know, when you go into water, you will change, like the volume of the water will go higher because of the body weight that you put in. So it'll measure the difference in water change and give you your number, and you calculate it into how much body fat you have. Very accurate. It's probably the gold standard. And the body composition analyzers are going to be the BMI test. Here's a video showing how to measure BMI.
We are going to administer the body mass index test. First, to take your client's weight, have them take off their shoes and any other excess clothing that will get in the way. Have them step on the scale and stand up straight. Okay. 143. The calculation for BMI is weight in kilograms divided by height in meters squared. So her weight was 143 pounds. And to turn that into kilograms, you're going to divide it by 2.2, which equals 65 kilograms. Okay? To take your client's height, have them step onto the platform, make sure that they have good posture and that they breathe in and look straight ahead. And her height in centimeters is 170. So you do 170 and you turn it into meters, which equals 1.7, and you're going to square that, which is 2.89. So you're going to take 65 kilograms and divide it by 2.89 meters, and her BMI is equal to 22.
I like that it shows the math on how to do the BMI calculations. We are going to be using this during the semester, and we are going to be using it on the fitness gram. That's basically the gold standard that they use for the fitness gram. Moving on to the fitness gram, here's a website that's going to show you everything about it. It's put on by the Cooper Institute organization, and the reason that we do it is to see how all of our students are doing. It's like a health report card, and it assesses all 5 components of the fitness gram. Clicking on this link, it's going to show you a progress report, and hopefully we'll be able to get these at the end of it. This is going to show any demos, there's programs, research, certification, but that would be for me. And that is going to be it as far as the 5 components of muscular endurance. I wanted to show you guys the physical education unit that we're going to be doing today. So by the end of this unit, you will be able to list and briefly describe each component of physical fitness, which we just covered in the lecture. Name and demonstrate physical activities that contribute to each component, and create a workout or practice that incorporates all components of physical fitness. That's the lecture. And we're going to do a group project today. We're going to have 5 groups, so start thinking of who you want to have in your group. And I really am going to have you watch this Edpuzzle video. It has check your understanding questions. We can work on them together as a team. And we're going to have our Chromebooks out to help you guys do these. And we're going to follow up with a quiz. You can do this tonight or in class if you have time. And that is going to be my lecture today. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. I appreciate you coming to class. Bye-bye.